I'm happy, as always, to have you here this Thursday, a little less than a week before the beginning of what I hope will be a happy Thanksgiving for everyone. We'll be on the downhill side of it by this time next week, and that will be after some wintry weather that we have to talk about, and we will do so briefly tonight. I've been out of the studio and office for most all day today for a couple of very important meetings. One will work into the news story a little later on, but with that said, I will bring you coverage of the Sagersville City Council meeting from this Monday in its entirety, around 30 minutes or so for just that. And as I told you earlier in the week, there was a lot of discussion about the Sagersville Water Works, specifically questions posed by its former superintendent, David Gardner, and a lot of other things discussed on the agenda, and we'll bring you that. I will in its entirety again in just a few moments. Only 2 or 3 other things will we talk about given the time restraints, that being your weather, before mentioned, and Maroon and White Night. Tomorrow night at the McGoffin County High School, the annual kickoff to the high school basketball season starts tomorrow at this time, 6 o'clock tomorrow night. And the rough schedule is as follows. There are some changes, by the way. It starts at 6 o'clock, the anthem and opening, and then from there, a lot of dance. The half-court shot, sometime around 6:40. From there, elementary, middle, and high school girls basketball introductions, and then the ladies from the high school will scrimmage, and then from there the North McGoffin archery, middle school archery, some dance. The boys from last year 15th Region Championship ring presentation ceremony will be thereafter, and the boys will scrimmage at 7:55, and a lot of cheer and dance and fun thereafter. So a full evening at the McGoffin County High School for Maroon and White Night all starts at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. So there's you something to do as we get ready to kick off the high school basketball season. Middle school, elementary basketball, middle school, certainly already well underway. Their season has begun. With that said, I'll be right back, and we'll take you to coverage of the Sagersville City Council meeting from earlier in the week. It's fall, and you can find it in all its warm, vibrant glory on the latest fashions, apparel, and accessories and home decor at the seasonal shop, where you can also embrace your inner claws as Christmas is hitting the shelves as we speak. Stop by anytime and pick out the perfect gift, birthday, wedding, baby, for anyone, and get cracking on those next-level Christmas decorations at the seasonal shop in downtown Sagersville.
At Big Sandy Healthcare, our mission has been to provide quality healthcare close to home. Now, as part of the mission, we're proud to announce our new Women's Health Mobile Clinic. We will be traveling to 5 counties to ensure that transportation is not an issue when it comes to your health. We can even arrange transportation from your home to the mobile clinic. Services include prenatal and postpartum visits, 4D ultrasounds, lab work, and wellness exams. For an appointment, call 606-263-6195. Big Sandy Healthcare, truly bringing quality healthcare close to your home.
Thanks to you, Fraser's Prater Drug has been voted #1 in customer satisfaction with Good Neighbor Pharmacies for the 7th year in a row. With curbside pickup for all of your prescription, allergy, or even multivitamin needs. Or come in and pull up a stool while you shop, or just visit downtown and treat yourself to something extra tasty or sweet. Where locally owned means a more personal, reliable, and friendly pharmacy. Fraser's Prater Drug. Someone dies in the U.S. every 7 minutes from an overdose, and over half of the population gets or takes pills from a friend or relative. And about 46 million and counting are exposed to narcotics in their drinking water. So don't toss them, flush them, or leave them lying around. Safely dispose of your unneeded meds anytime at Parkway Pharmacy,
where you can always talk to a pharmacist when you need one.
Johnson Central High School stands alone in providing the most college and career programs of study in one building throughout the entire state of Kentucky. This includes pathways in everything from the medical field to engineering, telemedia, welding, agriculture, and even aviation. And that's just to name a few of the 32 different choices. Work has also been started on a brand new state-of-the-art high school. So now is the time for your child to experience the power of opportunities in Johnson County schools.
There was a full write-up in today's edition of the Sayersville Independent, as well as I hope you saw the Throwback Thursday page, a lot of sports stories and important news, and then a lot of young people telling us how they cook their turkeys for Thanksgiving. And I love that so much. It's been a good read today. With that said, the Sayersville City Council met in regular session this week. They discussed a number of things, the majority of the meeting dedicated to the Sayersville Waterworks, as the former superintendent of which asked to speak to the council and the mayor on a number of different topics. He began with the speed limit in downtown Sayersville, which has been an issue coming off the Ivy Point Hill for as long as there's been an Ivy Point Hill, but it is not one that's been remedied as of yet. Looking for some solutions there. But Gardner was also asking about financial issues with the Sayersville Waterworks, a lot of which have been referred to as taking place or happening under his administration or guidance. Here's that meeting in its entirety.
Oh, what's these waterworks things on here? Let me look here.
Right here's the first sheet.
It's on the second sheet.
Mine ain't the same order.
It's got, unless it got mixed up or something.
We had to, you want me,
Yeah, go ahead.
okay, let's,
It's got the water grinder pumps and,
yes,
Southern
that
saltwater.
Southern Cells,
yeah.
Yes, we ordered 2 grinders,
yeah,
complete
and,
system hookups. One for a, we paid for it because they didn't have money right now. One for a church up in Lake Forest, or not Lake Forest. Trying to think of the name of the road, Rolton. And one for a new hookup behind Lee Saints Recipe, Lee Branch.
Okay.
and then the software,
Solutions.
yeah, that was where they had to extend, their, old software. We didn't think we would have to, and so they were low on the money, so we just went ahead and paid for it, and then they'll give it back.
Reimbursed.
Yeah.
You can get them forward. Huh? No, not yet. They didn't have the money to pay for it, so they said he had to pay for it. But they were supposed to reimburse the city. Yeah. Okay.
Here, motion to pay the bills.
Is Wendell Conley on this?
What's the name of it?
I seen
It would
it.
be on the waterworks.
It'll be on the waterworks?
What, second tank number?
Yeah, second tank pump.
Yeah, it's on the waterworks.
Yeah. It's paid.
Okay.
Okay. Make what we pay them.
Here, second.
Is the motion on the city's bills or?
Yeah.
Okay. Not the water board.
Second, Darrell, all in favor? All opposed? The waterworks bills.
Have they got the money to pay them?
Yeah.
Well, I make a motion to pay them if we got the money to pay
All
them.
right, here, a second.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Dell Engineering sent an email, I give it to everybody. They want to set up a meeting. I got the email on November 11th, and it says in 2 to 3 weeks they want to have a meeting with you guys.
Who's this?
That's the road up there?
Yeah. Bell Engineering,
Parkway.
Parkway project. What I need to know is when I talk to him, because all of you guys, certain days you can meet, certain days you can't, and times. He's pretty free Monday through Friday.
I'm good.
Mark Arnold is. Give me, since you all work, Pat, Phyllis.
Tuesdays and Thursdays are what we do.
I was gonna say Tuesday's bad for me, but any other time, I'm good.
Yeah.
And what'd you say?
Thursday, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
It's good or bad? Okay.
Tuesday, bad.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you do it on Friday, let's not do it real late because you don't work. Kind of do it kind of early as you can. Because some people may want the weekend or something. Monday, Wednesday.
I can't do, staff, I can't do during the week, that's just regular 7:30,
Well, I'm good for that, just so it ain't on Friday.
whatever, just whatever everybody wants to do.
Monday or Wednesday. On the week he says he can come. He said 2 to 3 weeks, that was the 11th. A week of it's already gone. So you're looking 1 to 2 weeks.
Tuesday, Wednesday, if you do.
Yeah. I'm good with the Wednesday, but it don't, whatever they want.
That's good with me.
Wednesday, 7:30. Try to set it up then if he's good and if Eric's good.
What date is this?
He said 2 to 3 weeks from November 11th, so that is another week to 2 weeks.
First part of December.
Where is Mr. Bell coming from?
Lexington,
Yeah,
this,
Mark Arnold.
it's my wrong.
Marble, okay. So he's coming from Lexington? So it puts him on the road back
So
real late.
Monday or Wednesday, everybody good, what's good for him? Plus we have to satisfy Eric too.
Yeah, we'll see what their time schedule, whatever.
Monday or Wednesday about 7:30. Everybody good with that? All right. I gave you 2 papers there where I had a camera run up sewer lines that was in overhung basements. He marked the floor, showed them where it stopped up, and it's like 4 feet deep. And it was in the middle of the basement, caved in. I know we've seen a lot of social media on that stuff. That's just to let you know. I'm done except for executive session. Dave, what do you got?
I would like to have a few minutes to be able to speak to the council.
Go ahead.
Good now? Did I use the corner of this table up there?
Yeah.
Good. Here, move your head. I thought on the agenda you all were going to take up the electric bill. That's what the agenda said, that you all were going to deal with the electric bill. Is that, you going to let me talk before you deal with the
It
electric
don't
bill?
got nothing on there.
Huh, it changed from the agenda that I was sent. Okay,
Only one been out.
all right. Maybe the last one was the agenda.
Yeah.
That said that you're going to deal with the electric bill.
That was last week.
Something about carried over since 2022, and I do want to address that. But first off, I know that most of you all would just as soon I not be here. I know that to be true. I also know that it seems like all I do is come and complain or bring up a problem, and that is true. But I do want to, before I get into some of my problems, and I do have a problem I'm going to ask you all to help me solve, but before I get into those, I do want to compliment Karen. I requested a bunch of information, and Karen, she may have complained to somebody else, but she didn't complain to me. She complied with my request. There was some information that didn't get done the first time. She apologized for that. She went back at it. And anyway, Karen, I do want to publicly say thank you for the way you approached fulfilling my open records request. Now, before I get into my other problem, the last time I was here, I asked about a couple of things, and I was One of them was the speeding down in front of my house. And I did finally get the transportation cabinet to put a radar unit down there. And interestingly, I saw the guys when they were actually putting it in the first time, and I went over to talk to them and say thanks for bringing it over. And they said the first two cars that come by, one was doing somewhere around 50 and the other was doing around 40-some miles per hour. Now I want to remind you that the speed limit down there is 25 miles per hour. Now, I didn't get to sit down there all the time and make recordings, but probably I've got maybe 10 minutes worth of recordings from the time he was down there. He's probably down there for about 3 weeks off and on. And I would not hesitate to say that over 90% of the cars and trucks and vehicles that came by were doing in excess of 25. 85 or so percent were doing in excess of 35, and many were doing far in excess of that. That's coming and going out of town. So is there any realistic expectation that I should have that the council or that you, the mayor, would be able to address that situation down there that I'm concerned about?
Are they a sign down there that said 25 mile an hour?
Oh yeah, there's signs, and there's on the other side of, way down on the Ivy Point, calling beyond our, the road that goes back to the farm.
Yeah.
There's a sign that says 35 miles an hour. So it's 35 coming across the hill. It's 25 basically at Bossie's on into town. And when they're exceeding 35, they're exceeding the 35 coming off the hill and then the 25. So the radar things seem to slow people down some, because when it first went in, you could feel them, they would be coming down, and then all of a sudden just sort of squat and slow. It's not done any good.
Could we request, excuse me, David, that's why I got it on my mind. Could we request maybe a set of caution lights, putting some coming off the hill somewhere before you get into town? There've been a couple of people who mentioned that line in there. I don't know if that's something, like
You know,
on.
there's not as many little kids down there now, but there used to be, and there's still some.
People, you're not the only one that's.
And then the other thing, Paul, is that there's the farmer's market down there. And on the days when there's farmer's market is busy, it is really dangerous. Now, I know that the city's stretched in different ways. I know you all have priorities. And that was my question was, should I have any expectation that this problem will be addressed?
What's the time limit? I mean, what's
my time limit? I've been living down there for over 40 years, Colin. And
yeah, but what's the time limit they come off the hill? Anything in particular?
it's all, well, they don't come, starting at about 4 o'clock in the morning.
In the morning?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when people are coming off to work. I can tell you, I've lived down there a long time, and in my lifetime, I've seen many different accidents. School buses have almost been hit. There's a lot of stuff going on, and it still continues. I don't expect the traffic will ever slow down, but I would like for it to moderate a little bit, quite honestly, and particularly on the days when the farmers market's going on, or when school buses are unloading and loading. And I'm sure that other parts of the city have the same problems. So, I don't know what the solution is. My thing is that I bring it to you, I ask that it's a problem for me, and I ask that you help me solve it. So is there any expectation that
I'll tell Neil to start patrolling down there a little bit. Does that machine they put out record? Or is it just, all it does is tell you your speed?
You maybe talk to the state or something, get them to put up a caution line or something, maybe.
Well, I was talking about like up here, on Canoe Road, there's a caution line coming off the hill.
Something, I mean.
Yeah, I've seen other places where they come off a hill and the caution light is there, and it may help some. But honestly, I think just have some presence down there on occasion. And the other thing, and this is just, I've never had the opportunity or reason to, one, be in charge of determining whether or not a ticket gets paid or throwing a ticket away. I've never had that opportunity, but I know what the gossip is, and that's the way we all find out a lot of stuff around here. The gossip is that they don't write the tickets because the mayor threw them away. And then the other gossip is that Dennis won't fine them because, you know, for the same similar reasons. Now, that's the word I hear. So I don't know if that's true or not.
I can address that. The mayor don't have authority to throw a ticket away.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that, well, I think it's a criminal violation goes to the courthouse. So I'm just telling you, I mean, the mayor, if it's written, the mayor has zero judicial authority.
But I can tell you this, is that
I'm not saying tickets don't get thrown away, don't get me wrong.
many of the policemen feel like it's not worth their time to write the ticket.
I understand, now I'm just saying.
And because it's a waste of time.
I understand that, yeah.
I've never asked my police officer to throw away a ticket.
So,
Anything like this ever happened in the past?
sir?
Other administration, did they throw the tickets away then?
Oh, I'm sure, you know, Colin, I'm not naive, I'm sure it's happened forever.
Okay,
I'm not naive.
okay.
So I'll ask about that. Now, the next thing is I asked about the raises up at the waterworks, and this was prior to the ordinance that you all thought you passed. And Jeff, you assured me that something was going to be done about that. There was some raises that were passed, or that were extended without authority, in my opinion. This is all my opinion, by the way. There was some vacation time that was purchased without authority, in my opinion. And there was some purchases, a lot of purchases made without authority, in my opinion. Just as a yes or no, were those addressed?
Yes, they are.
I'm curious because one of the persons, or both of the persons actually, who were supposedly have gotten raises, their scheduled rate of pay is still much more than it was when I was there. And according to all the minutes, none exists for the commission from the time that I left there to the time that the city passed an ordinance. There was no minutes made then. But according to those lack of minutes, and according to this city council minutes, no raises have been extended to water department personnel, or at least, let me change that. No raises have been approved by the governing authority to those. So my question then is, how is it that the employees of then the waterworks and now the city have gotten raises without approval of the governing council? That's a question that I would like to have answered.
Everything you're going to ask is under investigation.
So the response is that you can't respond because it's under investigation? Okay. The other thing that I would like to bring up, and it disturbs me that I have to do this, or I feel compelled to do this. But at least particularly last month, there was this whole flurry of, as Mayor says, social media. There was social media and the newspaper articles all around the electric bills. The agenda, and that's where I got confused, but the agenda from last month said electric bills from 2022. Now it happened to be that I was there and in charge. I was the general manager superintendent in 2022. Now, my recollection is that we were 2 months in arrears, meaning that we had...
Exactly.
But, so, and my calculations are is that you've paid probably somewhere in the range of $350,000, $400,000 in electric bills since I resigned. So, you're saying that instead of paying the electric bills as they accrued, you left those alone and paid them the current ones so that you could later say we have 2022 electric bills that have not been paid.
No, we had to pay chemical bills because they had us cut off from buying chemicals.
So, have you
We were
paid, all right, so have you paid any electric bills?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, you've paid about $350,000 worth.
Yeah.
Now, of that $350,000 worth, did you pay any of the 2022 electric bills?
Yes.
So, the bank loan that you're asking for is not to cover 2022 electric bills.
Not all of them.
Not any of them.
I object to that. I run your records off and there was approximately, can't quote me on the number, somewhere between 50 and 60,000 that was carried over from 2022.
So the 350,000 or so that you've paid, none of that went to pay off those 2022 bills? Typically, we pay off the most oldest bill first. Okay.
Yeah.
Then, there's this statement that was made, let me see if I can get it. A grant to replace aged grinder pumps. By the way, you know, when you laid this all on the previous administration and by implication, Dr. Shepherd, since I was up there, it also, you laid it on to me as well. But you said that the grinder pumps were never serviced under the previous administration. That's a bold lie, Stanley. A bailout to address the extensive debt left by the previous administration. I do want to say that, yeah, there was debt, but I also want to say that when Pete first became mayor, there was a conversation about the debt that was left over from when you were mayor. Now, my recollection is that Pete had about 4 days or 3 days to come up with $75,000 before the electric was going to be cut off. My recollection also is that we had about $400,000 of debt that when I was placed on the commission, when I was put onto the commission, there was about $400,000 worth of debt that had to be taken care of, and we did it over time. My recollection also is that the water commission at that time was being paid between insurance and fees about $800 a month. And I'm going to pass out some snippets from the ordinance here in a minute, but the ordinance defined how much they could be paid, and it was back in 1960 or so, it was $5 a meeting. Now, if you add cost of living to that, it gets to be somewhere around $50 a month, and that's what we were paying our commission. Our commission did not get insurance paid for. So, I want to point the other thing I'd like to point out is that Dr. Shepherd, like I said, Dr. Shepherd chose not, he specifically, essentially directed us not to look backwards. He chose not to complain about what was, but rather to fix it and go forward. One of the ways we had to fix it, by the way, is that the records were in such bad shape that I went to RDA, which was a fund source. I went to KIA, which was a fund source. I went to Sarah National Bank, which is a fund source, and talked with them, and we all agreed that it was useless to do an audit for those times because it couldn't be, the audit would be just wasted effort. And so we actually had to all start again. I've been told that prior to Stanley's last terms in office, or the first time you were in office, there was something like about $500,000 or $600,000 of surplus money at the waterworks. And then I can't prove any of this, by the way, because one, the records disappeared. But if you take that $500,000 or $600,000 and you add it to the $400,000 worth of debt that we inherited. So what does that make it? Almost $1 million worth of somewhere or another that the waterworks went through about $1 million without it being covered otherwise. Okay. And then finally, there was no rate increases for about 12 years prior. And you guys, all except for Cole and Ray, will probably, I suspect you'll have to look at that at some points. And I know that Stanley doesn't want you to do that. But since the last raises were put in place, there's probably been, I think, somewhere around 15–16% of increase in cost of living. So much of what's being blamed on prior administrations is actually should be blamed on cost of living increases. Anyway, so I found out that you can't talk about the raises because that's in litigation. Here's my question, and I may have worn out my welcome already. So today in the mail, today's the 18th, by the way, y'all know that, I got 2 letters that said that my water and sewer are going to be disconnected. Now, I know that I'm in arrears. And the reason I said the 18th is because on those 2 letters, the date of notice was the 14th and the date of cutoff was the 14th. So at the end of all of this, what I'm going to ask you all to do is to direct the mayor or whomever to not cut my water off tomorrow. Okay? And I'm going to explain why I will ask you to do that. I don't know if he would do it or not anyway. But
We send late notices out for everybody, not just you.
Oh, I'm in arrears. I admit it. But the late notices said you're going to cut it off on Friday.
No, we don't cut off on Fridays.
Well, I've got my bills here that I can probably prove to you that that's what they say.
I'll take your word for
It's
it.
the same schedule they've
All
always
right.
had. Isn't that the same schedule they've always had?
No. Here, Darryl, look at that. Does that say the 14th? Does that say the 14th?
Yeah.
So you're disconnecting them today. I got my statement 3 days before I got my statement. Okay. The other thing that I have a concern about, or that is a problem, is that I have 2 accounts. I've had 2 accounts for a long time. And one of the accounts was for my landscaping business. And then when it went out of business, I just took it as a personal account. And it didn't have sewer on it because that's one I use to water my plants, wash my cars. And we all know that sewer is calculated based upon water consumption. And so I just figured it's probably cheaper just to keep the other one. But it's the name on the account is David Gardner, Water Service Only. Well, for a while, I was getting a bill just for water service. And I think I'm going to admit that I may make mistakes, and I probably do. And I may make a mistake in some of this, but the gist of it is true. So I paid that bill in full because I had no sewer on it. But recently, I've now been getting a sewer bill, and so one of the disconnects is for that one, and it says I'm late fee on sewer and late fee on water, and I have a balance in arrears with sewer and water. So it's a water service only account. The second one is the second one is my water service one. Now, I don't read the newspaper often, so I did not see.
Let's get to the point. Instead of just rattling off, let's get to the point.
I am getting to the point.
What's the question?
The question is here's the point, and Jeff should I would like for Jeff to answer this question. Is it legitimate? Is it appropriate? Is it within policy of this council or the prior commission that an employee has the authority to make and charge fees?
We don't have authority to make a charge fees unless it's authorized by council or commission. I agree.
So here's the point, Stanley, is after Jim and I left, and everybody needs to know that the reason Jim and I retired is because the commissioner that you all appointed came across the table to fight Jim Hoskins. Now, Jim's a pretty cool guy, but Tommy Bailey came across the table to fight Jim Hoskins. I resigned that day, Jim resigned that day, because it seemed apparent that the commissioner that you all appointed was not there to work on the problems of the waterworks. So, there was no council, there was no commission in place from that point forward. There was no meetings from that point forward. So, the commission... No, there's no minutes of them, so there couldn't be a meeting.
I appointed Jim Arnott to the board, and they had a couple meetings.
Jeff, did the meeting...
I don't know about the
No, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Does a meeting exist if there's no minutes for it?
Gotta be a quorum. It can exist with no meetings, but there's supposed to gotta be a quorum, and there's probably legalities that I'll have to look up, Dave, because I honestly don't know.
I'm going to suggest to you that
I haven't looked it up. I don't know
without an agenda, without a public meeting time, and without any minutes.
I agree. They didn't have all that stuff.
All right. So there was no meeting. So if there's no meeting, how is it then that a fee can be passed on everybody?
What fee are you talking about, Dave?
The $7 fee.
Oh.
For a long time, Paul, it showed up on my bill as on-off. And that's when I started not paying it because I didn't know what on-off was. So for 3 months or so, when I was paying, I would write a note that says, please explain to me what the on-off fee is. Never did get an answer to it. Finally, I learned that it was the maintenance fee. And then finally, all the stuff I'm telling you comes from the fact that I did an open records request, and I had, by Karen's own words, no minutes from that commission, okay? I had a letter from Don, who I assume is the attorney for Waterworks at that time, that says that, here, let me read this. So it says, I believe that this increase was decided when the board was in transition and comprised of only one member, Tommy Bailey, who agreed to it. Now, I have here, if y'all want to see, I have snippets from the ordinance that was in place at the time that determined the way that commission and the waterworks functioned. Pass that around. And those snippets will point out to you that one, the commission had the authority to raise money, control the money, do all those sorts of things. The commission had the authority to meet and require a quorum of 2 people, as Jeff said. My evidence is that there was no meetings, so there could not be a commission of 2 people or a meeting of 2 people or a quorum. Without a quorum, no business could be conducted. And the business between the time that I resigned and until you all took it over, there was a lot of business that went on, and I suggest to you that none of that business was legal. Now, here's the bottom line, Stanley, this is what I'll finish up for you. I would like for this council to direct the mayor or whomever to not disconnect me until this is resolved. The greater picture...
Until what's resolved?
Sir?
Until what's resolved?
Till you've told me that you're going to disconnect my...
Are you talking about the $7 fee?
You've
No,
told
he's talking
me
about disconnecting his water.
that my water
Back and
is
forth on
sewer.
all kinds of stuff.
I understand, but I'm trying to clarify here. Are you saying not to disconnect you until the issue of the $7 fee is done?
That's correct.
Okay, so that's what you're asking.
That's the one thing I'm asking.
Well,
The other thing I'm asking is that you give Jeff the guidance to work with me, because it's my intent to seek an opinion of the Attorney General to determine as to whether or not this fee is legitimate. Now, you've raised about $36,000 using this fee, which I suggest is probably only about 2/3 of the people have been paying. Also, so in the long run, what I think that should happen is that either you refund the money to the customers who have been paying it, or you apply that what they paid to the current and future bills. And if this council wants to move forward with that $7 fee, that this council actually votes to implement that $7 fee. Otherwise, it's my opinion that you're continually frauding your customers, and that the customers all have a grievance against you. So I'm finished now.
Who started that $7 fee?
No.
We will get something back in writing from the state on that situation when the investigation is complete.
Are you going to cut off my water? Because
Are you going to pay your water bill?
I'll pay for the water and sewer, which is legitimate. I'm telling you right now that I'm not going to pay a $7 fee. I'm telling you right now that the late fees, most of the late fees, all of them as far as I know, and the current and the rear balance in arrear comes from that $7 fee. I'm telling you, on the one account that I don't have sewer, I'm being charged for sewer. I'm not paying that. So I am, Stanley, paying on a regular basis for those services that I receive. I'm paying them in a timely fashion. I'm comfortable if I don't pay that, cut me off. But for those things in arrear, for those things that I think I've proved to you are fraudulent, then I would hope that you would not do anything until it's all resolved.
Keep your water bill paid.
Everybody else pays water bill.
I pay my water bill.
You've been, sir, I've been over your records and I've looked at your accounts. When you were the general manager or whatever you were, you had adjustments, large adjustments on your bill. You never paid. Now you can request those records if you want, I can give them to you. Showing you.
I know what went on.
Well, request those records and bring them back in front of the council and tell them your record of paying and your adjustments on the water. Is that your practice? I'm sorry.
You done?
I'm finished.
All right. Do I hear a motion to go into executive session?
I have something to say. I agree with him on the fast cars and, cause they're in, I can hear it over in Dixie. But I moved here in 1957. It's been the same ever since. And David, I have to agree with you with that. But, when Stanley came in, he was in court from November, December, January, February. And there was federal court last.
If the council passes the bills, if it's done upfront and appropriately and in a legal fashion, then I'll abide by it, Stanley. But for those that are proven to be fraudulent, I won't.
All right.
David, they add sewer to your bill on the new one,
Yep.
there's a mistake in how the new system is processing the bills. And so a lot of people that didn't have sewer, their program included it automatically. That is being adjusted off of the ones that it didn't have to be. If it only started, and he wouldn't let me ask, if it only started within the last 2-3 months that we've had the new software system, then that's what's going on. If he was being charged that before, then I don't know anything about that, but I do know on several people that only have water, it added sewer to it automatically. And it is being adjusted off.
Motion to go into executive session.
Motion to go executive session.
All in favor?
Doing anything coming out, Will?
The council later returned from executive session, reconvened the meeting, and then adjourned. I'll be right back with a quick look at your weather. A wintry weather forecast. You can call it low carb because it is ultra low carb. And you can also call it one of the tastiest meals ever. Seasoned roast breast strips are perfect green beans, and cooked cabbage so good that sometimes I just get a pint of it and a Diet Pepsi and make it a meal. All you have to do is make your way to your Sayersville Lee's famous recipe. Experience over 30 years of exceptional, impeccable elegance and beauty at Seasons Florist, now in Sayersville, offering the very freshest in floral designs, custom and in-stock wreaths, arrangements, gifts, and so much more that you'll have to visit to try to see it all. Plus, they have tuxedo rental, free delivery within the city limits of Sayersville, and you can even place orders after hours. Call anytime Seasons Florist on Parkway Drive, 349-4000. For whatever reason, if your working days are over, don't do anything before you meet Grover. Social Security, disability, SSI, work injuries, wear and tear, and hearing loss. 888-9-GROVER.
Atrial fibrillation is one of the more common rhythms we see.
AFib is an arrhythmia of the heart where the top part of the heart is beating erratically and out of sync with the bottom part of the heart.
The electrophysiology service is made up of a team of healthcare providers, and that includes an electrophysiology lab where we're able to do procedures to help repair heart rhythm problems. When a patient becomes heart rhythm free, it can really restore their life.
ARH, more for Appalachia.
Green Tree Forest Products wants to buy your timber. Our skilled log procurement team has 4 generations and 70 years of experience buying over 24 million feet of hardwoods every year, which means you'll get the most dollars out of your logs and timber by calling any of our 3 locations in Sayersville, Moorhead, or Wallingford, Kentucky. In the Sayersville and surrounding area, call 495-1198. Green Tree Forest Products. SMB is proud to stand with you with what might be your very first and definitely last checking, savings, retirement, even Christmas Club account, along with consumer, auto, mortgage, business loans that you can easily manage from anywhere in the world with safe, secure mobile and online banking that comes from over 120 years of commitment to your financial life and well-being. Today, tomorrow, and forever. Sayersville National.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in small town values.
And mom and dad and the things they handed down.
I believe some of the best people in the world are farmers.
I believe in insurance that protects families, homes, and cars.
I believe in always finding a way to do what you love.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
Now it's time to talk about some wintry weather that might linger all the way through your Thanksgiving holiday. for the most part of your 7 days. Let's check this out. 43 was our high today. We're at 32 at the 6 o'clock hour. Feels like 27 as we've got a breeze out there, a wind moving around from the west around 4 or 5 miles per hour. Biggest gust of clock today, 24 miles per hour. So, when it was cold and windy, it was cold and windy. 76% for the humidity rain. We picked up 4/100ths of an inch in precipitation today. In totality, sunrise 7:20, sunset at 5:18. Now, this is your local Doppler radar for this time, and you'll notice the green, that's moisture, and of course it's cold enough to snow, and flakes are starting to fall again here in downtown Sagersville at the 6:30 time frame. Snow pretty good right now coming down in Lexington, parts of central Kentucky, so don't let the greens fool you. I mean, we are at 32 degrees and falling. With that said, we still stand to pick up an inch, maybe two for some folks during the overnight early morning hours. Certainly the upper elevations are more likely to do so. You'll see it on the rooftops. You might see it in the grassy areas. And if you get out early enough, you might still see it on the car. But it won't be around very long tomorrow. Tonight, a low of 30 degrees is where we're going to fall. Southwesterly winds. As I said, we've had some good ones today, pretty breezy, as it will be tomorrow, and maybe an inch or two of snow. Tomorrow, 42 degrees. Right now, we will start off, I think, with a little snow possibly lingering tomorrow, but by noonish or so, and certainly thereafter, we're going to hit above the freezing mark, and that's when we'll see whatever's left change back to rain, and the snow will quickly be gone if we get to see any at all tomorrow. High around 42, wind still out of the west up to 20-21 miles per hour, so a breezy, blustery, cold, wet day tomorrow for your Friday. 50% chance of rain mainly before 9 o'clock tomorrow night, a low of around 37 tomorrow night, still winds out of the west up to 20 or so. What's the weekend? What is the weekend before Thanksgiving? A big shopping weekend and a big shopping week ahead, I'm sure, more so. What does it have in store? 47 lighter winds out of the west at 5 to 7 miles per hour for your Saturday, so fortunately not as breezy, but mostly cloudy, and mid to upper 40s for your Saturday. Nighttime lows back down around 30, and then that takes us into Sunday. Sunday, as I said earlier, probably a good day to put some Christmas lights or decorations up if that's what you want to do before Thanksgiving, because you're going to have the sunshine and you'll have the upper 50s to do so, and nighttime lows that night will stay in the upper 30s, so you'll be able to be out until right about dark and not be terribly cold. And here we are going into our Thanksgiving forecast, where it kind of takes another downhill turn. We'll have to see just how far downhill it goes, but right now, Monday, 63, mostly cloudy and rainy, certainly on your Monday. I don't see any way out of that one as of right now. Tuesday, well, that system takes temperatures right back down to the 40s and keeps them there. 49 on your Tuesday. We do see a little sunshine. We see some lingering precipitation to the tune of a 20% shot of some rain or snow or both. Wednesday, ditto, 48 again. 31, mostly sunny, a 30% chance of rain or snow right now. Thanksgiving looks to be in the upper 40s, mostly cloudy, and a 70% chance of rain. I'm sorry about that, and we'll see. Maybe it'll change and improve. And that'll do it for tonight. Look forward to wrapping up the week when I see you back here tomorrow. Thank you for watching.